Please like and comment on the video below. That will allow me to produce better quality videos and more of them in the future. If you're interested in learning to trade successfully on sports, then why not visit the BetAngel Academy, where we have more detailed videos. So when you're using BetAngel, you may or may not be aware of all of the ways that you can trade multiple markets at the same time. So that's what I want to talk to you about in this video. And the first way that you can do that is really, really simple. And a lot of people don't seem to know that this exists. So if you were to select a market normally, you'd go up to the top left-hand corner, click on File, select Market, and that brings up the market selection tree. So the market selection tree allows you to look at all of the market search. You can use the quick picks, or you can use the predefined searches to bring up certain markets that you're interested in. But once you have the markets that you're interested in on that menu, then you can see here we're looking at the moment at the 20-2 at Sedgefield. But there's a race at Huntingdon 10 minutes after that particular race. Maybe you want to look at that and have that ticking away in the background somehow. And it's really simple to do so. All you need to do is right click, and you'll see that three options come up. Two options to display the market, and then the third option is to display the market in a new ladder window. So if I click on that, what will happen is the market appears in a new ladder. So you can pin that to the existing screen. You can do whatever you like with it, and you can see it dynamically resizes. But basically you're looking at two markets at exactly the same time. So depending upon whether your mouse is pointing over on one side or the other, then BetAngel will give priority to whichever market you're looking at that particular moment in time. And you can do that with loads of different markets. So if you want to pin loads of different ladders all over the place, it's perfectly possible to do that. Just right click when you're on that market selection menu. If you want to change the style, the shape, font sizes, gaps, any aspect of the ladder, very, very easy to do so. On each ladder screen that you display, you'll see the ladder settings, and if you go into there, that will bring up all of the ladder settings that's appeared on the screen over here. So you can see there are loads of options to modify the way that the ladder looks, including the font sizes and other information within there. So if you don't want to have all of the information displayed that you see here, you can get rid of it, and you can set that up as a profile and then bring that in whenever you want to do it. But that's the quickest and simplest way to have multiple markets up on BetAngel. Very, very easy to do. However, the best, or one of the best features, because there are loads within BetAngel, is the Guardian tool. So if you go to the G, Guardian itself is pretty much a piece of software in its own right. There's so much that you can do with it. If we cut it off and sold it as a separate product, it would stand out on its own as a separate product. But Guardian was invented to be perfect for doing loads and loads of things in multiple markets simultaneously. You'll see why when I click on it in a second. So if we look at Guardian, you can see I've got today's racing listed in here. Now it could be today's racing, the football, the tennis, the greyhounds, as many markets as you like. You could put all of them into Guardian and manage them from there, because essentially what Guardian is a multi-market management tool. So if I just flick through these markets, you can see that it brings up all of the odds, and at the bottom of the screen you've got unmatched bets, matched bets, automation, you've got the log from each of those individual markets. So even if you open up a separate ladder window on BetAngel and you're actively working within there, the information on that market will appear within a log, and that will tell you what you've done in the market and when and so on. And you can see there's all of those options available for you there that allow you to browse, and you can search and sort by volume. You can do all sorts of clever things within Guardian. Now that is there simply to allow you to sort through markets. And once you've added a market to Guardian, it can stand independently. So the advantage of that, if you think this through and you give me a couple of seconds to explain it to you, is if you look up here on Guardian, you can see it's got Excel sheet and it's also got automation rules. And the idea within Guardian is you can either trade the market yourself, because you can just double click on it, or you could spawn a new window, because you can do that from within Guardian as well. But you can also apply an automation rule to that market, or an Excel sheet, or both. You could do all of them all at once if you wanted to. So you could trade the market, you can have Excel doing something within the market, and you can have automation doing something in the market, and even a servant if you wanted to as well. And all of those things will work together. And if you wanted to do a separate, different Excel sheet to do different things or a different rule in individual markets, it will carry on and do that in the background. So Guardian will work its way through each one of these markets, and apply all of those features to it. And while Guardian's doing that, you can be off trading whatever race you so wish. You can go back to the existing race. You can actually close down Guardian, and Guardian will work quietly in the background for you, doing all of the things that you've instructed it to do. So you can see that Guardian is perfectly suited for multi-market trading or even gathering information. Some people just use it. So for example, it will cycle through tennis scores and then it will alert a trader when an opportunity arises. There's a particular setup they like, maybe a breakdown in the second set or something like that, or certain odds, and it can alert all of that while you're doing other things elsewhere. So yeah, Guardian is the benchmark multi-market trading tool, because you can automate stuff through there using the advanced automation, and you can use Excel sheets in there as well as trading it yourself, as well as spawning additional ladders and stuff like that from there. However, there's a load more depth within there as well. So you can see the automation and the Excel columns. If you go to the top of Guardian, you'll see we've got the Excel area. I'm not going to go into great depth to explain that. You need to look at other videos. And a similar thing for automation. They're just 2 tabs within here and 2 columns, but it's a whole new world for you. Again, they're both pretty much individual pieces of software in their own right. Explore them as much as you possibly can, because you will find great opportunity therein. But also within Guardian, another thing that you may want to do is highlight some markets. They could be football, tennis. You can mix them all up in Guardian if you wanted to. And then you can add them to the watch list, because the watch list is a useful way of looking at multiple markets as well. So if we go to watch there, I'm going to turn off the sync with Guardian, with Guardian's list of markets, and you can see we've got 5 watch lists. I've marked these markets down here. I'm going to add them to the watch list, and then we're going to display that watch list. And then, hey presto, up pops the watch list over here. So you could have an Excel sheet running in a market, you could have automation running in a market, you could actively be trading it, and you could have it up on the watch list as well. And again, we can close down Guardian and the watch list will stand independently of that. Guardian's working away in the background, doing all of that work for you, and it's displaying the information on the watch list for you to have a look at. And again, on the watch list, if you wanted to, it's perfectly possible to actually spawn a market from there as well. So you've got options to, loads of options within the watch list, but if you actually want to switch to a market using the watch list, you can do that as well. And obviously that is really handy for keeping an eye on all of the individual markets that you see there without having to look at them in Guardian and so on. So if you've got a multi-screen display, you could have Guardian on one screen, watch list on another, and other things going on while you're trading your main screen. Or it could be there just for information, what's coming up next and things like that. And you can modify the way the watch list is displayed as well, so it can give you a P&L on individual markets, and when the market closes and so on, you can understand what is happening, what's coming up, and so on. I think basically what I'm trying to say here is you've got loads of options, and Guardian is a much deeper way of managing all of those multiple markets simultaneously. Or if you just want to just bring up 2 individual markets, then you probably you may as well just go into the market selection menu and do a right click, because it's easy to do that from there if you don't want all of that detail behind there. But what I suggest anyway is that you explore all of those features, because it will help you get an awful lot more out of BetAngel.